Oh, you're banded. Lovely.
I first started working with bats in 1993 as an undergrad and fell in love with them immediately. They are fascinating creatures and so little is known about them.
Corey Lawson is on a mission. She is braving the cold, dark nights of winter in an effort to understand the winter ecology of bats. And she's not the only one. Bat biologists across British Columbia are taking a closer look at the habits of bats during the winter months. Previously, it was believed that bats hibernated through the winter season, but new findings are showing that this is not necessarily the case.
It started for me in about 2008 when I started just putting out some bat detectors in the winter and realizing there were a lot of bats flying around in the winter when we otherwise thought they should be hibernating. The thought has been up until recently that bats just tuck away for the winter. And then some work that I did in 2002 in southern Alberta in the prairies, I just happened to discover that bats were flying there throughout the winter. And that was sort of big news for the bat world, and went, wow, why do we have bats flying around at really cold temperatures, -8 degrees Celsius, there's no food out, why are they flying? And so that yeah, that just piqued everyone's interest really as to what's going on with winter ecology of bats, and are they not hibernating in the way we thought that they were hibernating.
As a bat biologist, Corey's day starts late as she heads out to set up nets just before dusk, hoping to net some bats that she can gather information from. Her study is on bats in the Kootenay region as a whole, where there are between 8 and 11 species of bats in any given area of the region. If she's lucky and happens to catch one, Corey notes various specifics about that bat, which she hopes will help to answer the question of why some bats are flying in the winter.
The first thing I do is I figure out what species it is, and then I measure it. And what's really important to me is to figure out whether they're adults or young of the year, to try and figure out why are they flying in the winter. All of these things will help try to piece that puzzle together. After I've kind of weighed them and measured them and all that stuff, then I might run a Q-tip across them. Does two things. First of all, it will allow me to get some genetic sample from the bat, but it also is a bit of a test at this point to make sure that we don't have any white nose fungus in our population of bats. Presumably we don't yet. It's only an eastern disease moving west, but I do take a swab as sort of a baseline negative to make sure that we still have clean bats.
Before releasing a captured bat, Corey will glue a small transmitter on its back so she can radio track that particular bat during the day in an effort to find out where it is roosting. Biologists are hoping to continue the study for the next 2 to 4 winters and are sharing information amongst each other as they believe this will be key to learning more about bats.
We know so little about bats in the winter in this province. We don't know what species for sure stay in the province. We don't know where they hibernate. It's kind of like, it's the 5 W's in a way we're trying to solve. And this is a long process, so it might be many years before we actually answer all those questions, but we're starting. We're making a start. I hope to do this for at least a couple of years in this area, expanding the research across southern British Columbia, and hopefully find out the answers to most of those questions before white nose syndrome arrives here.
Christina Krichkowski, Shaw TV, Castlegar.
Yeah, you want to go.